Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Chasers, January 2nd, 9:45 p.m. doing a powerful front special edition tonight here. We've got this front kind of hung up just west of Seattle, very slow moving. It's got some pretty heavy precipitation in it, mixing in snow with it, changing back and forth between snow and rain, and there's even some slushy accumulations, mainly north of Seattle and the Kitsap Peninsula. And this front is going to slowly make its way across here too, so we've got a flood advisory. We'll take a look at that in a minute. This front is also going to pass over Portland later on tonight. A very powerful front, heavy rains, flooding potential, especially urban flooding. This front's then going to pass over the Cascades and on into eastern Washington and Oregon. So it's going to do a number on the entire region here, the Pacific Northwest. Winter storm warnings are up, high winds in the mountains, and high winds in some areas in the eastern portions of the state. So let's go ahead and just take a look at here. You can see the front draped. It's just now moving on to Seattle, the main frontal precipitation band. And we're going to get several areas of heavy precipitation behind this front too. I'll show you the high resolution rapid refresh here coming up. First, let's zoom in on Seattle here. And I want to show you this flood advisory here. You can see urban and small stream flooding caused by excessive rainfall expected. So this is for King and Snohomish County, especially if you're in a low-lying, poor drainage area. Heads up there. We're getting over a half an inch to an inch and a quarter rain in the last 3 hours across the advisory area. So watch out if you're in any kind of low-lying area or you're driving around, you see water over a roadway. Zooming back out, you can still see we've got the winter storm warnings all throughout the Cascades of Washington, Oregon. Look at that, even an avalanche warning down there. Probably could extend that to all areas. It looks like they are extending it to other areas. Winter storm warning, Chelan, Omak, Colville, Spokane's under winter weather advisory. So, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh here. This is the newest model out. This is the 9 o'clock run. You can see this is current. Actually, let's go ahead and bring up the COD version of that. And you can see this heavy rain over Seattle, stretching down across southwest Washington out towards the Oregon coast. And you see heavy precipitation behind this too out towards the Washington coast. You see these really heavy bands down to the Oregon coast. This is a very powerful frontal system. Had several lightning strikes through the Olympic Peninsula earlier, Washington coast and Vancouver Island. There was some thunderstorm reported on the Kitsap Peninsula with those lightning strikes. So as this moves across, look at the power of this front. Heavy rain, quite a broad swath of it, crossing across the Portland area, just intense precipitation. And look at some of these bands coming in and around Seattle here too. Just an incredible frontal system here. And you can see that it kind of takes its time getting away from Portland here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, 5, it's still not pushed off, 6. So that, take heed if you're down there, the Willamette Valley or the coastal range or on the coast, any low-lying areas, small streams, urban flooding, heads up. And this thing starts to slide into the Cascades and into eastern Washington, bringing snowfall with it over there. And you can see how the heavy bands of precip continue behind this. Just a very intense storm here. And you'll see the winds turn westerly. The air will get colder in here. The precipitation will start to lessen, but you could still get some convection and bring the snow level down to sea level on some of the heavier showers still. So that's what's coming for tonight there. Let's go ahead and look at the radar again here. I mean, there's going to be some big rainfall totals, and there's already some accumulating snow up there also. And I've heard it's been changing back and forth between rain and snow as well. So that is what's going on. Let's go ahead and look at, let's zoom in on Portland here. We still have a wind advisory out for Portland as well. I mean, just all kinds of stuff going on there. We got a flood watch, wind advisory. So Cascade Foothills, Cascade Coastal Range, Greater Portland Metro Area, North Oregon Coast, excessive runoff, flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations. Yeah, urban areas, definitely. So pretty much anywhere this flooding can occur. Checking out the winter weather advisories on the east side here. Winter storm warning all the way up through Rosalia, just south of Spokane there. Spokane expecting blowing and drifting snow here, 2 to 4 inches. And that, you know, when it's blowing 35 miles an hour, that can easily recover roadways, even if you got snow plows going. Winter storm warning up just south of that. big winds are driving that warning there. 1 to 3 inches, the high winds. Let's look down here at Pendleton, high wind warning. It's an intense frontal system moving through there. What are we looking at for gusts here? Up to 70 miles an hour. Impressive. Winter storm warning. 8 to 12 inches. Gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. So that's a combination of the snow there. And that's for the northwest Blue Mountains, northern Blue Mountains. And let's take a look at if Bend, Oregon has a wind advisory right now. You're right on the borderline of this winter storm warning, so I think Bend's going to get some snow to 8 to 16 inches just outside of Bend there, so that's probably going to extend a bit into you. And look at all these winter weather advisories out into Idaho. 4 to 8 inches above 2,000 feet. And most of this terrain out here is pretty high too. So this is Elk River Highway 11, Pierce to headquarters, Pierce Dixie, Elk City Highway 12, Lolo Pass Highway 93. And this is from 2 p.m. Monday to 11 a.m. on Tuesday, 10 a.m. on Tuesday, Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, lots going on here. Let's check out Chelan too. I mean, that's a pretty big city out there. They got a winter storm warning up. Let's take a look at it here. Drifting, blowing snow, 3 to 6 inches. A nice storm out there. Mansfield, Chelan, number 2 Canyon, Entiat, Wenatchee. Let's check out Yakima, winter weather advisory, 2 to 5 inches. That's not changed from this afternoon and morning. 2 to 5 inches sunny side. Let's see what they're calling for here in the Cascades, Oregon. Has this changed at all? It's winter storm warning here above 2,000 feet. 18 inches, 65 miles per hour. Man, what an intense storm here. You can really see this thing coming in on the satellite imagery here too. And you can see all these other bands. These will form little comma clouds and have powerful precipitation rates with these showers as they're moving into it. You can see they are plentiful. And this is eventually going to move into the area. You can see almost this triple-headed parent low out here off the Gulf of Alaska. And the cold air continues to stream off the state of Alaska here. And I saw some imagery of the south coast of Alaska here, just really cold, blowing snow, just crazy. I heard winds 70 miles per hour on Kodiak Island. So yeah, a very impressive low, especially after the ridge we had going on here for just over a week that gave us our really cold weather. So yeah, fun storm, and I just thought I'd give an update on that. Heads up, if you guys get in the heavy precipitation, you can see slushy accumulations anywhere really almost down to sea level. I hesitate a little bit because I think it's mostly going to be a hilltop thing or something north of Seattle. Right now it's 37 degrees at my house, and we have moderate to heavy rain going on now. The rain is piling up here just outside of SeaTac. But you can see here how this front is kind of slow moving, and it's training over the same area here. So it's going to take a couple hours to get off any one location. And especially you saw that for Oregon, how that hung right over Oregon for up to 4 hours there. And look south of the region there too. It's just kind of nice and clear, and you get some wave cloud going off the Sierras there, and just this powerful storm battering the Pacific Northwest. So our winter just continues. Just an incredible season so far. And you know, we've got another snow event possibly coming up too. Should we take a look at that now? I suppose it can't hurt. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to look out a little bit here, and we're just going to take a look at the surface wind speed. And I want to see what this shows for the system coming in Wednesday night. So here we are into Tuesday. Weak system moves into Vancouver Island, and you see that open wave. The model's been good at picking that up. Gusty winds along the South Oregon coast there on Tuesday night. And in the wake of that, this afternoon anyway, we kind of brought there's some Fraser River Gap stuff going on. There's some east winds coming through now. And especially with this storm out here, you can see the warm front aligned here as you get the southeasterly winds coming through, the gap winds. And you're going to see this air will cool off a bit, and it will become drier. So there could be some evaporative cooling initially with any precipitation that comes from the storm, from this warm front. And then as you see as we go into, well, this is Thursday morning, and we're still in that east flow. So at that point, we would still be potentially cold enough, especially areas Seattle and north on that. And looking at the GFS here too, so you can see that warm front is here aligned, drawing that cooler air out. I'm not going to say cold, it's not Arctic air. You're getting some through the Fraser River Gap, but it doesn't take much to start off an event as snow. And here we go into Thursday morning now, and you can see the wind start to go southerly through here. And once this warm front gets in, it's game over for the winter precipitation. The only problem is, as you can see, they're still getting easterlies, Skagit, Whatcom County there, as this big low is just churning out here, and its warm front is just kind of hanging out here just across northwest Washington. And you can see the battle going on, the Fraser River winds going on for Bellingham for a while before this thing finally spreads inland and switches the winds and then starts to scour that air, what's left of that cooler air, and bring some strong winds into the Washington and Oregon coast, but nothing too out of the ordinary there. But yeah, so another chance coming up later this week. We'll have to keep watching that. And heads up, you guys, with this system, I mean, if you're in a low-lying area, if you're out and about, water on roadways, you know, heads up. And when this precipitation ends, remember there's more heavy bands behind it. And this front is seemed to be training, but there seems to be kind of a back edge there in the end, but there's more precip to the west, so that's probably why that looks like that. And let's see if there is anything else here. No, we're still in the 4Z. How about we look at, let's just see what the HUR is painting for winter, and we'll go to snow 10 ratio, and we're going to cut these any totals these show down, because the snow is really wet and slushy. And you can see tomorrow morning, I mean, we're already getting a little bit of accumulation up by Everett, I think it was. And there was some in the Kitsap Peninsula, it's showing that pretty well too. And then Monday morning, some slushy accumulations, probably an inch or less, but this is showing, you know, 1.5 inches in some areas there north of downtown Seattle. And maybe a little bit for SeaTac, but it's going to be slushy, or it might just be melting altogether as it falls. So not a big snow event, especially after what we just had, not a big deal. Don't worry, this is not going to get cold after this passes through. We're not going to go back into the ice box. We're not going to have huge sheets of ice, you know, in your front yard and on the roadways. So don't have to worry about that. And then we'll watch that system come in Wednesday night, see how that air, you know, just how much cool air gets in the region. And of course, then we'll let the models work on that and just see what they predict for that setup. And snowfall totals should be a little bit better with that system, just because there will be cooler air at the surface on the onset, and we might be below freezing in some areas, so we'll probably have a better idea on snowfall amounts versus this one. You're probably watching social media and some news reports, and some areas were calling for no snow, and some people are posting flashy snow maps with 8+ inches, and yeah, so we pretty much know those ones are right. But you could get an inch of slushy accumulation at some point if you're under some of these heavier precipitation bands with the front or the post-frontal cumulus clouds that are moving in tonight, late tonight and tomorrow morning and on into Monday. And watch out for a stray lightning strike too, so maybe some thunderstorm out there for a lucky observer. And you can see the big totals, of course, in the mountains, so watch your travel through the passes, all-wheel drive or chain up, you know, and watch for the pass closures. You don't want to get stuck out there waiting in line for 8 hours like some people did a few days ago. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming by, guys, and I will talk to you guys later. I'll do another video tomorrow as per usual, and check back for updates on Twitter. Thanks.